Hello everyone, and welcome back to Neffy Cat. We're so glad that you can join us today. Thank you very much. Today I want to talk about different types of businesses that are common in our world today. And as is usual, I have different items here to represent the symbols of these. So these are the kinds that people commonly use in our different states, pretty much statewide, although there's a few exceptions. For the most part, we're going to go over the general types here too, and almost all the states in America support and have these types of businesses that are available to form within the states. Okay, is Neffy Cat ready? I think so. So our first type, and this is the most common type, this is called a sole proprietor. So a sole proprietor is usually very easy to form. You see here this single kitty that is forming some type of a sole proprietorship. Yes. Neffy's kind of curious about that. Yes, so this type of business is easy to form. And the good thing about that is that you have personal control over it. So if a person has it, they make all the decisions. One of the things that some people do or do not like is that that's business, and under a sole proprietorship is not considered a separate entity. So if somebody sues the business, the person that owns the business is liable. That can be a downfall, and a lot of times businesses when they're first starting will start even as a sole proprietorship, and then they'll migrate onto another form as they go along. Another type of business is called a partnership. So partnerships usually have an LC or an LLC, that's a limited company or a limited liability company. And this is when, first of all, when you have two or more people involved with a business. With an LC, a limited company, you might have one owner, maybe one of those fishies owns the business, and any of the other owners only have a limited amount of liability that they're responsible for, say if somebody sued the business. And another interesting thing about partnerships, then the LLCs, they're limited liability companies, and in this one, one person would be responsible for the debts that any of the others incur within a company. So it's even protected a little bit farther. Then we're going to come to what's called an LLC. I chose this for a limited liability company, and this is a separate title from what I was just talking about within partnerships. So an LLC is, their profits can pass through to the personal income without incurring corporate taxes. And so sometimes people will do this to protect themselves in that way, and so that they don't have to deal with the corporate tax. Also, the individual who owns the company is not legally responsible with their own personal assets. So if somebody sues the company, then you, the owner, your own personal assets like your car, your house, your own checking account, savings accounts, those aren't liable to lawsuit. So a lot of times the people who own these, you'll see a level of creativity here, which I love. This water bottle here, I thought this was a very good symbol of a limited liability company. You can come out with a lot of really, really creative things and share those with the world. They're bringing value to the market. Yes. Okay. The next category of businesses would be the business category. Notice here, these are shares. A lot of the corporations, first thing to know about a corporation is that they're their own legal entity. So the owner or the owners are not legally responsible in case somebody sues it. It has that quality in common with the LLC, but it has more to it. So with a corporation, it is its own entity. No owner is liable. A lot of times they cost more to make. Yes. He's checking these out. Yes, he is. He says, I might like to lay on these. This corporation looks rather safe for a kitty. And a lot of times, the reason I chose some old stock certificates, these are historical ones that I have, by the way. And a lot of times, the people will choose these. Sorry about that. For the fact that it's its own entity. And a lot of times they'll also choose them because they can take that company public then, and people will be able to buy taxes in it. Or excuse me, people will be able to buy shares of the company. And as you can see here, those can come to be quite valuable. So he's standing on, I'll try to show you, there we go. The Longhorn Oral Company. Those are some that I happen to acquire. These are historical though, as you can see, quite a ways back. And they're still in existence today. They're a great symbol of a corporation though, because this is where you can get hundreds and thousands of people involved with that. A lot of times you'll think of a corporation, you might think of a big giant factory like Kellogg's or Purina for kitty food. One of the things about them that I'll mention is that they have higher taxes. They have a corporate tax that they pay, and so that can really matter. So notice that difference between the LLC here and then the corporation is that this corporation is going to have corporate taxes, and so it's a lot. Owners, when they take money out of the company, are sometimes double taxed, and so you'll see a lot of times owners will, if they are going to bring profit, they'll have a position within the company that they'll take income out as its own individual instead of them taking out money from the company itself, from the company profits. Okay. Alrighty. So there's also a C corporation and an S corporation. There's several types. There's a B corporation as well. I won't go into all of those here, but just to let you know that those do exist and they're great to do some research on. You might like to check out SBA, the SBA Small Business Administration, SBA.gov, has a lot of really interesting information about those different separations. Like I know for one thing that the S corporation, the people can take out profits, the owners can, without having the double taxation that a C corporation in the corporate class, in the corporation class has. Now also remember, I want to remind us of that one of the differences is that with a corporation, it's its own legal entity. So if somebody sues it, there's absolutely no personal liability or responsibility there. Okay. And another type of company is called a nonprofit organization. Now he keeps wanting to hang out with the corporate. Yeah, I think he feels better about that. Oh my, oh my. So let's see here. Here we are with a nonprofit organization, and that little tail is showing us. A nonprofit organization is there for the sake of the people. It's not there for profit. It's there to benefit the public at large. They are tax exempt. They usually do have to register that with the IRS and with their state. There's certain things also, there's a limitation on like what they can do with their profits. They've got to invest it back into the public good. I thought that those pumpkins were a really good example of that because oftentimes there are things like Food for People or World Vision, those types of places. They can also be like for religious organizations, educational, scientific types of research. But I thought this would be a really appropriate symbol because this is like bringing food to the people. Okay, and the last type that we're going to talk about today is a cooperative. Now, some of you may know about this or may have been involved with them. Sometimes farmers will do this, and they have people buy shares of the company. So people will buy into the company with shares, and then they all split up the profit in common. I have some friends that once were involved with a farm, and they would receive weekly allotments of food of the different things that the farm grew. Other places it'll be finances. Usually though, it's something like that. It's something, you'll see a lot of this with farms, and if some of you know about some of the more modern movements that we have to go back to a more traditional way of trade and things like that, sometimes you'll see ones that have trade for work. Like if a person puts time into the company or into the farm, they'll receive a bigger allotment than other people will. Yes. So that's a review of some of the basic companies that we have today. And while somebody is interested in eating a leaf, oh no, we thank you so much for joining us today. So if you like the contents of our videos, don't forget to take the pause. Don't forget to take your pause and hit that like and subscribe button. You can as well hit the notification bell so that you can receive all of his videos. Thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate you. Thank you. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.